6 Theories about why Vegeta never surpasses Goku in the Dragon Ball series. 1. Goku's ties to the Monkey King mythos prove he can't fail. Son Goku is based on the Monkey King or Sun Wukong, a mythological figure from Buddhist folklore. According to legend, the Monkey King is the most powerful warrior to ever exist and destroyed nearly all of heaven's celestial army before finally being redeemed. So it may be that in keeping with the Monkey King mythos upon which his character is built, Goku is simply fated to be forever unconquerable. Not that he's never been defeated in the series. He's been defeated numerous times, in fact, but he always manages to make a comeback and emerge victoriously. It is entirely possible that his pedigree is just too big to fail. And Vegeta may simply be cursed to live in the shadow of this unconquerable legend no matter what he does. 2. Goku simply has more raw talent than Vegeta. In Dragon Ball Z, Resurrection F, Vegeta and Goku apparently possess power of nearly equal skill and potency. However, Whis tells Vegeta that the reason why he continues to trail Goku in power is because he thinks too much. He walks around with a chip on his shoulder, and his nerves are wound too tight. But one can surmise that this disadvantage is only a minor one. So, does Goku simply possess a natural talent that Vegeta does not? The only other Saiyans who have ever reached Vegeta and Goku's level of power were the original legendary Super Saiyan, whose identity remains unknown, and the Super Saiyan Broly. However, Vegeta, for all his talent, has never managed to demonstrate the same degree of raw talent that Goku has. This despite having a more rigorous training regimen than Goku. It just may be that Goku is the Michael Jordan of Saiyan warriors and Vegeta just doesn't measure up. Of course, that would never be something that Vegeta himself could ever accept. Anime 7 people are voting on the best anime memes on the internet. 3. Goku's selflessness gives him an advantage. Originally, Goku was a very angry and violent child under the care of his adoptive grandfather, Gohan. But after waking up from a coma caused by a head injury that nearly killed him, his personality changed radically and he lost most of the heightened Saiyan aggression that he possessed before the accident. This is what likely instigated his morally pure and strong-willed personality. His jovial demeanor and empathy towards others, including his own enemies, has resulted in a good deal of trouble for the hero. However, it is also what is behind his willingness to sacrifice himself for the sake of others. His greatest strength comes from his need to protect others. Vegeta, however, is a different story. While Vegeta is also no stranger to sacrifice and selflessness, this has never come easily to the Saiyan Prince. As a result, going all out for others with no thoughts about his own well-being is a rarity. Vegeta values his own life too much to be truly self-sacrificing. He is hesitant to cross that line which Goku is just not afraid to cross. But is he weaker because of it? 4. Saiyans get stronger after taking a good beating. Vegeta has taken quite a few beatings during his battles, but no one takes a beating better than Goku, which is why healing is an ongoing theme in the Dragon Ball series. Every time a Saiyan is healed, their power increases dramatically. The Saiyan's power also increases after being killed and then resurrected from the dead via the use of the Dragon Balls. Both Goku and Vegeta have been resurrected twice. But how many times has each been healed after a battle? Unfortunately, it is not clear just how many times Goku and Vegeta have been healed after sustaining injuries in battle, and it is also unknown how many times Vegeta had to be healed of his injuries during his service to Frieza. However, throughout the series, Goku has definitely been pushed to the brink more times than Vegeta. So if being healed of physical damage increases the power level of Saiyans, it is likely that Goku has suffered far more battle scars than Vegeta and benefited from it. After all, Vegeta was originally more powerful than Goku and less likely to be injured to the degree that Goku has repeatedly been. In fact, prior to his battle with the Z fighters on Earth, it doesn't seem as though Vegeta was very familiar with the concept of defeat, let alone grave injury. It just may be that Gaku's willingness to take a beating has made him more powerful than Vegeta. 5. Is Gaku an energy vampire? Gaku has, on more than one occasion, used his spirit bomb technique in which he absorbs the energy and strength of other living beings and converts that into power that he can use for himself. It is often considered to be the most powerful technique ever used in the Dragon Ball series, and only Gaku is capable of using it, unless you count Cell, Krillin, and later Trunks, who each use the ability under special circumstances. Fans make the assumption that when Gaku collects life energy, it's just a temporary effect that dissipates after he has used the technique. But does it? At one point, Gaku is able to channel the power of the spirit bomb directly into his own body, increasing his own power. He basically absorbs other people's ki energies to make himself stronger. So what effect does this absorption of ki have on Gaku's physiology that Vegeta could be lacking? Could it be that Gaku is continuously absorbing ki energy from his surroundings, slowly and subtly building up his power over time and increasing his overall ability to use and manipulate ki? He certainly has the power to do so. And would anyone notice if he did? 6. Does Gaku produces more ki energy than Vegeta? It is kind of a low blow to suggest that the reason why Vegeta fails to measure up to Gaku is because he's smaller than Gaku, especially since he is vastly more powerful than the much larger Nappa and various other large enemies. But then, none of them were Gaku. And if Vegeta and Gaku's natural ki levels were close enough, it is not inconceivable that a larger body size could make a great deal of difference in creating a significant gap between the two. During the series, Gaku has continuously bulked up while Vegeta has stayed relatively the same size. Perhaps he's slightly more muscular, but not much. This is most obvious after Gaku's first resurrection and his appearance on Namek. It seemed as if Gaku's size had increased dramatically. And, as we know, the source of the Saiyans' power is their ability to use and manipulate ki energy. We also know that power increases substantially during their much larger Great Ape transformation. It stands to reason that a larger body produces more ki. But is the degree to which Gaku is larger than Vegeta really enough to tip the scales of ki in Gaku's favor, leaving Vegeta to come up short?